Things have changed in the San Diego real estate market compared to where we were last year. The new numbers just came out, and we're going to dive into all of it and show you what's happening right here and what that means for buyers and for sellers here in San Diego. As we jump into it, there's differences between single family homes and attached homes. We're also going to dive into what's happening here in the mortgage interest rate market, give you some insight into some wild swings we've been seeing over these last few days. So we're going to jump into it. As always, I'm Chris Erickson, part of the Living in San Diego real estate crew. And if you guys are thinking about making a move, got some questions, all of our contact info is right below. Feel free to reach out. And if you're looking to buy, you can also just download our free buyer's guide that's popping up right now. Get all the information you need to know when buying a home right here in San Diego. But let's get into it. So here's all the new information that just popped out. It looks confusing. We're going to go one by one and break it all down, starting with new listings right here in San Diego. So we're comparing March 2024 to March 2025, give you insight into where we were and where we are. So the top level here is detached homes. As we go down here, you have attached, a little bit different story, like I mentioned, between the two, but a few key things that we're going to pop into here. So first up, let's just hop into new listings. The number of new homes coming on the market, good indicator of how many sellers we see come into the market. Last year, there was 1895. This year, there's 1976. So a nice little uptrend. We're about 4.3% up. The pending sales that we see here, how many homes are under contract? It is a good indicator of right now how much demand is out there, how many buyers are out there compared to last year. And the number is 2.2% above where we were last year. Jumping into closed sales. Now, this is like a indicator. It's down, first off, 8% compared to March of 2025. But closed sales are giving us an indicator of where we were maybe in February, because usually homes are sitting, taking about 21 to 45 days to close escrow. So they're in that process for that long. So any homes that closed in March likely went under contract in late January or early February. So right here, since there are a little bit more pendings than there were March last year, a little bit less closed sales, it was a little bit busier in March of 2024, early in the year compared to last year. And this year it is a little bit busier actually in March compared to 2024. So the number of buyers out there actually increased a little bit during this time. Days on market, how quickly are homes going for sale? Now, in years past, this number was extremely low. So 24 days isn't crazy long. 26 days, obviously a little bit more, where we're sitting at 8.3% more. Back in, just for a little comparison, back in April of 2022, it was like 11 days. So homes were going on the market, selling, going under contract, and selling relatively quickly. There's a little bit of breathing room. Even with buyers that we're working with and sellers we're working with right now, we're seeing buyers kind of take their time a little more, where there's not that frenzy that we have seen in the past where that first weekend you need to get in there. It's still important. There's still houses that go under contract that first weekend. We'll dive into all that. But as a whole, we're just seeing a little more patience from buyers out there. So sellers just setting expectations. Hey, you might get some showings the first weekend, but maybe you won't get any offers. Maybe get a few showings the second weekend, maybe no offers. So as a seller, you're going to want to have some patience and set that expectation up front that, hey, yeah, I could sell that first weekend. We're priced right. We're promoting it properly. Everything's dialed in, but it also could take a few more days, maybe a few more weeks. So 26 compared to 24. The median sales price for all of San Diego County detached homes is just over $1 million, still up a little bit compared to last year. So we haven't seen a real drop in prices. We've just seen a less acceleration than we have in years past. Same going on here with the average, the median just taking that middle price point. So it takes out if we had any extremely high sales or extremely low sales, it's just taking that very middle number, where average obviously is taking everything into account. So a few different factors to take a look at here, but either way, both of them are up a little bit for detached homes. So percent of original list price received. Now this is a very important number to keep eye on and know how much above list price, how much below list price homes are going for. If they're going above, your competition, you are looking at multiple offers, you are looking at more of that frenzy, more of that, a lot of people looking at that specific home. Whereas the lower this number goes, there's a little bit of flexibility, and it's going to vary from neighborhood to neighborhood. I was just having a conversation with somebody who was pondering looking at Rancho Santa Fe, checking it out, exploring a little bit. And when I looked up these numbers for Rancho, so this is for all of San Diego, 98.7%. So just just over a percent off of the list price, but down 1.8% compared to 2025. Rancho Santa Fe is closer to that 90%. So as we always say here, what's your specific situation? What neighborhood are you looking at? What type of home? All that comes into account when you are actually looking at homes. And for sellers, the same thing, to know what's going on there. Now, percentage of list price received, we're not going to dive into that because that's just taking into account the last list price. So if it was listed at 1.2, it dropped down to, had a price reduction to 1.1, they're taking that into account. So, and it sells at 1.1 because maybe that's where it was originally supposed to be, but that's not as good of an indicator as the original list price received. Inventory of homes for sale. This is where we start getting interesting, comparing how many homes are on the market compared to last year. From March to March of 2025, we're up 10.1%. But I'll show you something down below here in a little bit where those numbers are quite a bit different. So we'll show you that. But 10.1%, that's good for buyers. You're going to see more homes popping on the market. Typically going into March, April, May, June, we'll start to see that go up, peaking out like the number of homes on the market sometime between May and July usually. At least that's what it's been over these past few years. So we should still be growing. So if you're out there, you're looking at homes, you're like, I really want, I'm just not seeing any homes that would fit my criteria. If you talk to us, we're like, yeah, expect more to come on in the coming months. And if we have seen like we have in years past, then that'll give us a good indicator that we are heading in the right direction. Now, month supply of inventory, it's basically, let's just say the higher this number is, the more we are looking at a buyer's market. The lower this number is, the more we are looking at a seller's market. So typically, old school real estate, if this number is at 6, it's a balanced market. But in San Diego, it's a little different. I'm going to say at 4, if there's 4 months of inventory here in San Diego, then we're looking at a balanced market. If we're looking at a little bit less than 4, we are still in a seller's market. If we're looking a little bit more than 4, that's when we start getting into a buyer's market. So you can see we're still in a seller's market here. It's up 4.5% from 2.2 to 2.3 months supply of inventory. And it's breaking down how many homes are on the market compared to how many sold in that month. And if this number climbs up to, like I said, 3s, 4s, then we can start looking into a buyer's market. Now there is opportunity out there for buyers. And just because it's 2.3 does, and I said 4 is a buyer's market, doesn't necessarily mean that buyers don't see opportunity and don't have opportunity out there. There's sellers we're seeing starting to negotiate a little bit more, reflected by this number here. And if it is over that 100%, that means they're not negotiating and potentially having multiple offers and pushing that price above the list price. So March 2024, it was 100.5%. Where this year it was only 98.7%. So a little bit of give from the sellers in this case. Now hopping into attached single family homes, condos, etc. This is where the story changes a little bit. So new listings is up over 24%, going from 1016 to 1261. So a big jump in the number of new listings coming on. Days on market here, also almost a 38% jump, where last year it was relatively the same as detached homes, 24 days. This time this year, it was 33 days. So we're seeing a little bit more slowing in this market. Two things, a little bit more inventory coming on, number of homes coming on, and homes are sitting a little bit longer. So potentially for buyers, you're going to have more opportunity if you are looking in these areas where you're looking at, or these specific homes that are attached or condos. You're going to see more inventory, kind of spreads out the buyers a little bit. You're going to have a little bit more time to think about it. And it's a little bit more of a buyer's market than the single family homes. Now, original list price received 98.3%, so just a little bit less than single family homes, but this is where the big jump came. So where we're sitting right here, about 35% more inventory of homes for sale. And the jump between month supply of inventory from March 2024 to March 2025 was a big jump as well, almost 32%. So a little bit different story in attached homes compared to single family homes. Now taking a look at mortgage rates, we saw a big jump from Friday as the 10-year went up on Monday here, going from 6.6 all the way up to 6.82. So when it did dive down here, it was good news for buyers as it did continue to go down. Obviously, it makes homes more affordable. It makes your payments a bit less. And then we saw a big jump coming into today. So we'll see where that goes into the future. If it goes back above 7, expect things to slow down a little bit more. Sellers expect a little bit more of a slowdown. Buyers, you can see a little fewer buyers in the market. As we go down towards 6%, even 6.5 and below, expect more buyers to come out. So this is going to play a big role in what happens here over the next few months. And we'll keep an eye on everything as far as mortgage rates and especially what's going on in the attached home market right here in San Diego. Are we going to see that skew into buyer's market here in the next few months? Or are we going to continue to see a little bit more of a balanced market? That's why it's important to know what's going on in your neighborhood, and we'll keep you in tune right here every single week. I'm Chris Erickson. We've got a real estate crew right here in San Diego. If you're thinking about making a move, you can hit us up, call, text, or email. All of our contact info is right below because we got your back when making the move here to San Diego.